When I rang the doorbell of my own house after 10 years, I expected tears, hugs, maybe even forgiveness. What I got was my 16-year-old daughter Emily opening the door in a maid's uniform, calling my sister, and asking if she should fetch the lady of the house. I'm Catherine Wells, 52 years old, and what happened next exposed a decade of lies that cost my sister everything she'd stolen. Before I tell you exactly how I made her pay, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what city you're watching from. Stories like this need to be shared because family betrayal is more common than anyone wants to admit. The neighborhood looked exactly the same. Same oak trees lining Riverside Drive in Portland, Oregon. Same brick colonials with their perfect lawns. The house at 447 Riverside, my house, the one I bought in 2004 with my late husband Michael's life insurance money, stood exactly as I remembered it. 3 stories, white shutters, the magnolia tree Michael and I planted still blooming in the front yard. I'd been gone 10 years. Not by choice. Not entirely. But that's a story that starts earlier. When Michael died in 2013 from sudden cardiac arrest at 41, I fell apart. Completely. Emily was only 6. I was 42, a nurse working 60-hour weeks, drowning in grief and single parenthood. My sister Jennifer, 38 at the time, swept in like a savior. She lived 3 hours away in Seattle, had never married, worked in real estate. She seemed stable, capable. Everything I wasn't in that moment. "Let me help," she'd said at Michael's funeral. "You can't do this alone, Kat. Let me take some of the burden." The burden. That's what she called my life. My daughter. My home. For a year, Jennifer visited every weekend. Took Emily to the park. Cooked dinners. Organized my bills when I couldn't focus. She found me a grief counselor. Helped me return to work part-time. I thought she was being a good sister. In 2014, I had what they called a nervous breakdown. The clinical term was major depressive episode with psychotic features. I spent 3 months in a psychiatric facility. Jennifer stepped in completely, took temporary guardianship of Emily, moved into my house to provide stability. When I got out, I wasn't better. I was medicated, functional, but hollow. Emily barely looked at me. Jennifer had enrolled her in private school, established routines, become the stable parent. I felt like an intruder in my own life. "You need time," Jennifer said. "Real time to heal. Let me handle things, hey. Maybe you should travel, find yourself, get perspective." I thought she was being generous. Selfless even. So in 2015, I left. Signed temporary custody papers giving Jennifer full legal authority for 2 years. Put the house in a family trust with Jennifer as trustee. Gave her power of attorney for financial decisions. I thought I was being responsible, ensuring Emily had stability while I got better. I went to Arizona first, then New Mexico, eventually settling in a small town outside Santa Fe where I worked at a community health clinic. I called Emily every week, sent birthday presents, Christmas gifts. The conversations were always brief, awkward. Jennifer said Emily needed space, that my absence had hurt her, that forcing contact would make things worse. "She's thriving, Kat," Jennifer would say. "Straight A's. Lots of friends. Happy. Maybe that's what matters." I believed her. The 2 years of custody became 5. Then 7. Jennifer sent photos. Emily growing taller, more beautiful, looking exactly like Michael. School pictures. Dance recitals. I wasn't there. Jennifer was. The guilt ate at me, but the medication kept me numb enough to function. In 2024, my therapist in Santa Fe, Dr. Sarah Martinez, finally asked the question I'd been avoiding. "Catherine, when was the last time you actually saw Emily in person?" 2015, I said. 9 years ago. "And you're okay with that?" Was I? I'd convinced myself I was protecting Emily from my instability. That Jennifer was giving her a better life than I could. That my absence was a gift. "No," I finally said. "I'm not okay with it." Dr. Martinez leaned forward. "You've been stable for 8 years. You're working full-time. You're healthy. What are you really afraid of?" That Emily wouldn't recognize me. That she'd hate me. That Jennifer was right, and I'd ruin everything by coming back. But I was also 52 years old. My daughter was 16. I'd missed her entire childhood. The fear of losing more time finally outweighed the fear of rejection. I called Jennifer in September 2024. "I'm coming home," I said. "I want to see Emily." Silence. Then, "Kat, I don't think that's a good idea." "Why not?" "Emily's at a delicate age. She's applying to colleges. She has her routine. Disrupting that now could be harmful. She's my daughter. On paper, yes, but I've been her mother for 10 years. The words hit like a slap. "What did you just say?" "I'm just being honest. You left. I stayed. Emily calls me Mom now. She barely remembers you." My hands shook. "I'm coming to Portland. I'm seeing my daughter. If you show up unannounced, you'll traumatize her. Then announce me. Tell her I'm coming." Another pause. "Fine, but don't expect some Hallmark reunion. This is real life, and you abandoned her." I hung up before I said something I'd regret. I spent 2 weeks planning. Bought a plane ticket for October 15th, packed a bag. Wrote and rewrote a letter to Emily. I imagined our reunion 1,000 different ways. Most of them ended with tears, but also with hugs. With forgiveness. With a chance to rebuild what I'd lost. I never imagined what I actually found. October 15th, 2024. 2 p.m. I stood on the porch of 447 Riverside Drive. The doorbell was new. The porch furniture was different. The welcome mat said the Foster home in cursive letters. Foster, Jennifer's middle name. She'd renamed my house. I rang the doorbell. Footsteps inside. The door opened. A teenage girl stood there. Tall, long dark hair. Michael's eyes. She wore a black dress with a white apron. A maid's uniform. My brain couldn't process it. "Can I help you?" she asked politely. "Emily." She looked confused. "Do we know each other?" My throat closed. "I'm Catherine. Catherine Wells. I'm your mother." Her face went completely blank. Not recognition. Not anger. Nothing. Like I'd said I was the mailman. "Oh," she said quietly. "Aunt Jennifer said you might come by." Aunt Jennifer. Not Mom. That was something, at least. "Can I come in?" She hesitated. "I should ask Mrs. Foster first." Mrs. Foster. My sister. In my house. Emily disappeared inside. I stood on the porch, shaking. Through the open door, I could see the interior. Everything was different. New furniture. New paint. Even the floors looked refinished. Nothing of Michael remained. Nothing of our life together. Jennifer appeared. She looked good. Expensive haircut, designer clothes, jewelry. She gained weight, but in a healthy way. She looked successful. Established. "Catherine," she said coolly. "You should have called first." "I did call. You told me not to come. And yet here you are." "This is my house, Jennifer. Actually, it's held in a family trust. I'm the trustee. Legally, I control the property. Where we both live. As family." She smiled tightly. "Things have evolved. Why don't you come in? We should talk privately." I followed her inside. Emily had disappeared. The living room was unrecognizable. Everything was modern, minimalist, expensive. The family photos that used to line the mantel were gone. In their place were photos of Jennifer and Emily. Jennifer at Emily's dance recitals. Jennifer at Emily's school events. Jennifer and Emily on vacation in Hawaii, in Europe, in New York. 10 years of memories I wasn't part of. "Nice photos," I said, my voice hollow. "We've had a good life," Jennifer said. "Sit down." I sat on a leather sofa I didn't recognize. Why is Emily dressed like a maid? Jennifer's expression didn't change. She's learning responsibility. Chores, cleaning, time management. In a uniform. It helps her take her duties seriously. Her duties. She's 16, not an employee. "Catherine, you've been gone for a decade. You don't get to judge my parenting choices." "Your parenting choices." She's my daughter. Biologically, yes. But I've raised her. I've paid for everything. Her school, her clothes, her food. Where were you? I was getting better. You said I needed time. You said Emily needed space. And I was right. Look how well she's turned out. Honor student. Accepted to 3 colleges already. She's thriving. Wearing a maid's uniform in her own home. Jennifer's eyes went cold. This isn't her home, Catherine. It's mine. The words hung in the air like poison. What did you just say? The trust. I've been managing it for 10 years. The property taxes, the maintenance, the improvements. I've invested over $200,000 into this house. Legally, I have a claim to ownership based on substantial investment and continuous occupation. My heart started pounding. That's not how trusts work. We'll see what a lawyer says. You're trying to steal my house. I'm protecting my investment. You abandoned Emily and disappeared for a decade. The trust allows me to make decisions in the family's best interest. I've been doing that. I stood up. I want to talk to Emily. Alone. No. She's my daughter. She's 16. She can decide if she wants to talk to you. Emily. Jennifer called. Emily appeared from the kitchen, still wearing the uniform. She stood with perfect posture, hands clasped in front of her. She looked terrified. Emily, your mother would like to speak with you. Do you want to talk to her? Emily glanced at Jennifer, then at me. I don't think so. The words broke something inside me. Emily, please. I know I haven't been here. I know I left. But I never stopped loving you. Emily said quietly, looking at Jennifer. Should I start dinner preparations? She called Jennifer. Yes, Dee. That would be helpful. Emily turned and walked back toward the kitchen. Not running. Not emotional. Just obedient. I looked at Jennifer. What have you done to her? I've raised a respectful, responsible young woman. Something you couldn't do. She's scared of you. She respects me. There's a difference. Why is she cooking dinner? Why is she wearing that uniform? I told you. Responsibility. She cooks 3 nights a week, cleans her own space, does her own laundry. It's good for her. Does she get paid? She gets room and board, education, and everything she needs. So no, she's doing servant work for free in a house that's legally mine. Jennifer's smile was ice. Prove it. Prove what? Prove the house is yours. Prove you have any legal right to it after 10 years of absence. Prove you're a fit mother. Go ahead, Catherine. I'll wait. I stared at her. This wasn't my sister. This was a stranger wearing Jennifer's face. I'm getting a lawyer, I said. Good luck. I've been consulting with one for 3 years. Everything I've done is legal. You signed over custody. You gave me power of attorney. You put the house in trust with me as trustee. You left. Those are facts. I'm still Emily's mother. Then prove it. Show up. Be present. Fight for her. She walked to the front door and opened it. But right now, you need to leave. You're upsetting Emily. I'm upsetting her. She's dressed like a servant. Lower your voice. I won't have you causing a scene. I wanted to scream, to grab Emily and run, to call the police. But I didn't, because I knew Jennifer was right about one thing. I'd abandoned my daughter for 10 years. I'd given Jennifer legal authority, and now I had to live with the consequences. I walked to the door. Stopped. This isn't over. Yes, Catherine. It is. The door closed in my face. I stood on the porch of my own house, locked out, my daughter inside being treated like help, and I had no idea how to fix it. But I was going to figure it out. I checked into a hotel downtown, the Riverside Inn. $150 a night I couldn't really afford. But I wasn't leaving Portland. Not without Emily. For 3 days, I sat in that hotel room trying to understand what had just happened. My sister had stolen my life, turned my daughter into a servant in my own house. And apparently, it was all legal. On the 4th day, I called someone I should have called years ago. Amanda Torres was Michael's best friend from college. She'd become a family attorney, had been at our wedding, had held Emily when she was born. After Michael died, Amanda had tried to stay in touch, but I'd pushed everyone away in my grief. Eventually, she'd stopped calling. Catherine Wells, she said when she answered. I thought you'd fallen off the earth. I basically did. Amanda, I need help. What's wrong? For 30 minutes, I told her everything. The breakdown, the custody agreement, the 10 years in New Mexico, coming home to find Emily in a maid's uniform, Jennifer's claim to my house. When I finished, Amanda was quiet for a long moment. Kat, how much of this do you have documented? What do you mean? The custody agreement. The trust documents. The power of attorney. Do you have copies? I don't know. Everything's in the house. The house Jennifer controls. Yes. Okay. We need to get those documents. But first, I need to understand the legal situation. When did the custody agreement expire? It was for 2 years. So 2017. And you never went to court to extend it or terminate it? No. Jennifer just kept Emily. And I let her. Did you pay child support? I felt sick. No. Jennifer said she didn't need it. Kat, do you understand what this looks like legally? You signed over custody, disappeared for 10 years, didn't pay support, and made no effort to reclaim your parental rights. A judge is going to see abandonment. But I didn't abandon her. I was sick. Jennifer said I needed time. And you took 10 years. The words hurt because they were true. What about the house? I asked. That's complicated. If the trust was set up with Jennifer as trustee and you as beneficiary, she has broad authority to manage the property. If she's invested significant money into it and can prove you abandoned the property, she might have a claim for reimbursement or even ownership. Can she do that? Just take my house. It depends on the trust language and state law. Oregon has specific rules about abandoned property and trust management. Without seeing the documents, I can't say for sure. I felt like I was drowning. Amanda, what do I do? First, you document everything. Every interaction with Jennifer and Emily from now on. Second, we file for custody evaluation and modification. Third, we get copies of all the legal documents. Fourth, we build a case that you're stable and capable of being Emily's mother. And the house. One battle at a time. Kat. Right now, Emily is more important than property. She was right. But losing my house felt like losing Michael all over again. Can I see Emily? Not without Jennifer's permission. Not until we go to court and get a custody order. If you show up at the house, Jennifer could claim harassment and get a restraining order. So I can't see my own daughter. Not legally. Not right now. I wanted to throw the phone across the room. Instead, I took a deep breath. How long will this take? Months. Maybe a year. Family court moves slowly. A year. Emily would be 17 by then. Nearly an adult. I'd already missed 10 years. Now I might miss her entire childhood. Start the paperwork, I said. File whatever you need to file. Kat, this is going to cost money. Legal fees, court costs, evaluations. We're looking at $20,000 minimum. I had $8,000 in savings. I'll figure it out. After I hung up, I sat on the hotel bed and cried for the first time since arriving in Portland. Not quiet tears. Gut-wrenching sobs. For Michael. For Emily. For the 10 years I'd lost. For the family that should have been mine but was now Jennifer's. When I finally stopped crying, I opened my laptop and started writing everything down. Every conversation with Jennifer. Every detail about Emily. Every fact I could remember about the house, the trust, the custody agreement. Amanda was right. I needed documentation. But documentation wasn't going to be enough. I needed to understand what Jennifer had really done. And to do that, I needed to see inside my own house without Jennifer knowing. That's when I remembered something. The spare key. When Michael and I bought the house in 2004, we'd hidden a spare key in the backyard, inside a fake rock near the rose bushes. 20 years ago, it was probably gone. But maybe, just maybe, it was still there. At 3 a.m. on October 19th, I drove to Riverside Drive, parked 3 blocks away, walked through the dark streets to my house. The neighborhood was silent. Every house dark. I slipped into the backyard through the side gate. Found the rose bushes, overgrown but still there. Felt around in the dark for the fake rock. My fingers closed around it. Heavy. Hollow. I twisted it open. The key was still inside. My hand shook as I walked to the back door. The lock was the same. After 20 years, we'd never changed it. I slid the key in. It turned. The door opened. I was inside my own house for the first time in a decade. Uninvited. Technically trespassing. The kitchen was dark. I used my phone flashlight on the lowest setting. Everything was expensive. Viking range. Sub-Zero refrigerator. Marble countertops. This wasn't the modest kitchen Michael and I had installed. Jennifer had gutted it. I walked through the first floor quietly. Living room, dining room, Michael's old office. All renovated. All unrecognizable. Photos of Jennifer and Emily everywhere. Not one photo of me. I went upstairs. The master bedroom was at the end of the hall. Jennifer's room now. I didn't go in. Instead, I found Emily's room. The door had a lock on the outside. Not the inside. The outside. My stomach turned. Why would a teenager's door lock from the outside? I tried the handle. Unlocked. I opened it slowly. Emily was asleep. I could see her in the moonlight from the window. She looked so much like Michael it hurt. I wanted to wake her, to talk to her, to tell her I was sorry for everything. But I didn't, because scaring her wouldn't help. Instead, I looked around her room. It wasn't a teenager's room. It was spare, minimal. A single bed, a small desk, a dresser, no posters, no decorations, no personality. It looked like a servant's quarters. On the desk, I found a notebook. I opened it, shining my phone light on the pages. It was a schedule. Every hour of every day accounted for. 6 a.m. Wake up. Make bed 6:15 a.m. Prepare Mrs. Foster's breakfast 6:45 a.m. Serve breakfast 7 a.m. Clean kitchen 7:30 a.m. Prepare for school 8 a.m. School 3:30 p.m. Return home. Afternoon chores 5 p.m. Prepare dinner 6 p.m. Serve dinner 6:45 p.m. Clean kitchen 7:30 p.m. Homework 9:30 p.m. Prepare Mrs. Foster's room for evening 10 p.m. Bed Mrs. Foster. Not Aunt Jennifer. Not even Jennifer. Mrs. Foster. I kept reading. There were rules written in the back of the notebook. 1. Always address Mrs. Foster as M or Mrs. Foster 2. Never speak unless spoken to during meals 3. Complete all chores before personal time 4. Keep room clean and minimal at all times 5. No phone calls without permission 6. No internet access without supervision 7. No visitors without approval 8. Maintain appearance and uniform standards. This wasn't parenting. This was control. This was abuse. I took photos of everything. The schedule, the rules, the sparse room, the lock on the outside of the door. Then I found something else. A locked drawer in Emily's desk. I knew I shouldn't, but I needed to understand. I found a paperclip, straightened it, picked the simple lock. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all addressed to me in New Mexico, all unopened. Returned to sender. My hand shook as I opened one. Emily's handwriting, from 3 years ago when she was 13. Dear Mom, Aunt Jennifer says you don't want to hear from me anymore. She says you have a new life and I should stop trying to contact you. But I wanted you to know I got straight A's this semester. I'm also in dance now. I wish you could come to my recital. I miss you. Love, Emily. Another letter, from 2 years ago. Dear Mom, I know you don't want me to write, but I'm scared. Aunt Jennifer is different now. She makes me call her Mrs. Foster. She makes me clean everything. I don't have any friends anymore because I can't have people over. Please come home. Emily. Another letter, from last year. Mom, if you're reading this, something's wrong. Aunt Jennifer takes my phone every night. She checks all my messages. She won't let me talk to anyone from school outside of class. She says I need to focus on my studies and my duties. I feel like a prisoner. Please help me. The letters were all there. Every one I'd supposedly never received. Jennifer had intercepted them, returned them, kept Emily isolated and made her think I didn't care. I felt rage like I'd never felt before, not even when Michael died. This was cold, focused, absolute fury. Jennifer hadn't just taken my house. She'd taken my daughter and turned her into a prisoner. I photographed every letter. Then I carefully returned everything exactly as I'd found it. Locked the drawer. Closed the notebook. I stood there looking at Emily, sleeping peacefully, unaware her mother was in the room. I'm going to fix this, I whispered. I promise. I left the way I came. Locked the back door. Returned the key to the fake rock. Walked back to my car. By the time I got to the hotel, it was 5 a.m. I didn't sleep. I uploaded all the photos to a secure cloud drive. Emailed them to Amanda with a subject line, urgent, evidence of abuse. Amanda called me at 7:30 a.m. Kat, where did you get these? I can't say. Did you break into Jennifer's house? It's my house. That's not how the law sees it right now. If Jennifer finds out, she could have you arrested for trespassing. I don't care. Did you see what she's doing to Emily? Yes, and it's bad. Really bad. This is child exploitation, emotional abuse, possibly false imprisonment. We can use this. How fast can we get Emily out of there? I'm filing for emergency custody today. With this evidence, a judge should grant a hearing within a week. A week? Emily's being held prisoner. I know, but we have to do this right. If we call the police without a court order, Jennifer will claim you're making false allegations. She'll say you broke into her house and fabricated evidence. We need a judge to review this officially. I hated it, but Amanda was right. File everything. Today. I will. Kat, one more thing. What? Don't go back to that house. Don't contact Emily. Don't do anything that could jeopardize this case. Jennifer is going to fight dirty. We need to be cleaner than clean. After I hung up, I lay on the hotel bed and stared at the ceiling. 1 week until the hearing. 7 days. 168 hours. I could wait that long. I had to. But Jennifer wasn't going to make it easy. The next morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Catherine Wells? Yes. This is Detective Sarah Morrison with Portland Police. I need you to come to the station. Jennifer Foster has filed a restraining order against you. My stomach dropped. On what grounds? Trespassing, harassment, and making threats. Can you come in voluntarily, or do I need to send officers to your location? I'll come. At the police station, Detective Morrison led me to an interview room. She was about 45, professional, skeptical. Ms. Wells, Ms. Foster claims you broke into her home at 447 Riverside Drive in the early hours of October 19th. Is that true? That's my house. Do you have documentation proving ownership? It's in a family trust. And who controls the trust? I said nothing. Ms. Foster also claims you've been harassing her and her ward, Emily Wells, showing up unannounced, making demands, causing emotional distress. Emily is my daughter. Do you have legal custody? It's complicated. Ms. Wells, I'm trying to help you, but you're not making it easy. Did you enter the property at 447 Riverside without permission? I thought about the evidence, the photos, the letters, the schedule. If I admitted to entering the house, Jennifer could have me arrested. The evidence might be thrown out. I could lose everything. I want a lawyer. Detective Morrison sighed. Smart choice. The restraining order hearing is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Judge Davidson, 9 a.m. Until then, you're ordered to stay at least 500 feet away from Ms. Foster and Emily Wells. Violation will result in immediate arrest. Understood. Understood. I called Amanda from the parking lot. She filed a restraining order. I know. I already got the notification. This is good, actually. How is this good? Because it shows consciousness of guilt. She's scared of what you might expose. We're filing our emergency custody motion today. Both hearings will be consolidated. Jennifer will have to explain Emily's living situation in front of a judge. The hearing is tomorrow. I know. I'll meet you at the courthouse at 8:30. Bring everything you have. And Kat. Yeah. Don't do anything stupid. We're close. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Emily locked in that sparse room, following that schedule, calling my system, writing letters to a mother she thought didn't care. At 2 a.m., I got a text from an unknown number. This is Emily. Please help me. She's going to send me away. My heart stopped. I called the number. It rang once, then went to voicemail. I texted back. Emily, it's Mom. I'm getting you out. Stay strong. I love you. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. She found the phone. I have to go. The dots disappeared. The number went dead. I called Amanda. She answered on the 5th ring, groggy. Kat, it's 2 a.m. Emily just texted me. She says Jennifer is going to send her away. Amanda was suddenly elate. What did she say exactly? I read her the texts. Okay, this is good. We can use this. It shows Jennifer's aware of our custody filing and is trying to hide Emily. That's parental interference. Where would she send her? Boarding school, maybe, or a relative out of state. Anything to prevent you from getting custody. Can she do that? Technically, yes. She has legal custody. But if she does it to interfere with your rights, a judge will see it as bad faith. Amanda, we can't wait until tomorrow. What if she puts Emily on a plane tonight? Then we file an emergency motion right now. I'm calling Judge Davidson's clock. Stand by. 30 minutes later, Amanda called back. We have an emergency hearing at 6 a.m. Judge Davidson's chambers. Bring everything. At 5:30 a.m., I stood outside the courthouse in the dark. Amanda arrived at 5:45 with a briefcase full of documents. Ready? Yes. We went inside. Judge Davidson's chambers were on the 3rd floor. We were shown into a conference room. The judge arrived at 5:58, looking annoyed. Counselor, this better be good. I had to leave my daughter's dance recital for this. Your Honor, we have evidence of child abuse, parental interference, and an attempt to remove the child from the jurisdiction to prevent the mother from exercising her parental rights. Judge Davidson's expression changed. Show me. Amanda laid out everything. The photos of Emily's room, the schedule, the rules, the letters I'd never received, the text from Emily at 2 a.m. Judge Davidson studied each piece of evidence carefully. When she got to the letters, her jaw tightened. Where is the child now? At the residence. But we have reason to believe Ms. Foster is attempting to move her out of state. On what basis? The 2 a.m. text stating she's being sent away. Judge Davidson looked at me. Ms. Wells, explain your situation. Why were you absent from your daughter's life for 10 years? I told her everything. The breakdown, the custody agreement, the 10 years in New Mexico, coming home to find Emily in a maid's uniform. When I finished, Judge Davidson was quiet for a long moment. Ms. Foster's attorney isn't here. She hasn't been served yet, Your Honor. This is an emergency ex parte hearing. I'm aware, but this is serious enough that I want both parties present. She looked at her clock. Get Ms. Foster on the phone. Now. The clock dialed. After 4 rings, Jennifer answered. This is Judge Davidson. I'm calling regarding Emily Wells. I need you at the courthouse immediately. Jennifer's voice was calm. Your Honor, I have a restraining order hearing at 9 a.m. Can this wait? No. I've consolidated both hearings. You have 30 minutes to get here, or I'm issuing a bench warrant. Silence. Then, I'll be there. At 6:35 a.m., Jennifer arrived with an attorney I didn't recognize. David Chen, according to his card. Expensive suit. Confident demeanor. Judge Davidson didn't waste time. Mr. Chen, your client has some explaining to do. I've reviewed evidence suggesting she's been exploiting Emily Wells as household labor, intercepting correspondence, and possibly imprisoning her. Chen didn't flinch. Your Honor, those are serious allegations with no foundation. My client has been the sole caregiver for Emily Wells for 10 years after Ms. Wells abandoned her daughter. Everything Ms. Foster has done has been in Emily's best interest. Explain this schedule. Judge Davidson held up the photo. Chores and time management. Standard parenting. Explain this uniform. Emily works part-time as a server at my client's catering company. The uniform is for work, not home use. I started to object, but Amanda put a hand on my arm. Judge Davidson wasn't buying it. Explain these letters that were returned to sender. Chen hesitated. I'm not aware of those letters. Your client intercepted correspondence between a mother and daughter. That's parental interference. If those letters are authentic, Ms. Wells broke into my client's home illegally. Any evidence obtained through illegal means is inadmissible. Judge Davidson looked at me. Did you enter the property without permission? Amanda spoke before I could. Your Honor, Ms. Wells owns the property. It's held in a family trust where she's the beneficiary. She had every right to enter. As trustee, Ms. Foster controls access. Chen counted. This was spiraling. I could see it. Legal technicalities were going to let Jennifer win. Then Judge Davidson said something that changed everything. I want to talk to Emily. Bring her here. Now. Jennifer's face went pale. Your Honor, it's 7 a.m. She's sleeping. Then wake her up. I want her in my chambers in 30 minutes. or I'm placing her in emergency foster care pending investigation. Chen leaned over to whisper to Jennifer. She whispered back, clearly agitated. Finally, she nodded. I'll get her. Mr. Chen will accompany you, Judge Davidson said, to ensure she arrives safely. Jennifer left with her attorney. Judge Davidson looked at me. Ms. Wells, if even half of what you've shown me is true, your sister is in serious trouble. But I need to hear from Emily directly. Thank you, Your Honor. We waited in that conference room for 45 minutes. Judge Davidson worked on other cases. Amanda reviewed our documents. I sat there feeling every second tick by, wondering if Jennifer was coaching Emily right now on what to say. At 7:48 a.m., they returned. Emily walked in wearing jeans and a hoodie, but her posture was the same. Perfect. Controlled. Scared. Judge Davidson's expression softened. Emily, I'm Judge Davidson. You're not in trouble. I just want to ask you some questions. Is that okay? Emily nodded, not making eye contact. Emily, do you know who this woman is? Judge Davidson pointed to me. My birth mother. Birth mother. Not just mother. When was the last time you saw her? I was 6 years old. And how do you feel about seeing her now? Emily glanced at Jennifer. I don't really know her. That's understandable. Emily, I want to ask you about your living situation. Is that okay? Another nod. Do you have chores at home? Yes. What kind of chores? Cleaning, cooking, laundry. Normal stuff. How many hours a day do you spend on chores? Emily hesitated. Maybe 3 or 4. Every day. Yes. Do you have a schedule you follow? Emily looked at Jennifer again. Just for organization. Judge Davidson pulled out the photo of the schedule. Is this your schedule? Emily's face went red. Yes. Did you write this, or did someone else? Mrs. Foster helped me create it. Emily, I want to show you some letters. Judge Davidson spread out the returned envelopes. Did you write these? Emily's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. Did you know they were being returned? No. Mrs. Foster said my mom moved and didn't leave a forwarding address. But you kept writing. Yes. I thought maybe one day she'd get them. Judge Davidson's voice was gentle. Emily, do you have your own phone? Yes, but it's managed. What does that mean? Mrs. Foster checks it every night. She has all my passwords. Can you call or text anyone without permission? Emily shook her head. Can you have friends over? No. Mrs. Foster says it's too disruptive. When was the last time you had a friend over? 4th grade. Judge Davidson sat back. Emily, I need to ask you something important. Are you afraid of Mrs. Foster? Emily looked at Jennifer. Jennifer's expression was carefully neutral. Emily looked back at the judge. She takes care of me. That's not what I asked. Silence. Emily, if you could live anywhere, where would you want to live? For the first time, Emily looked at me. Really looked at me. Her eyes were full of longing and fear and confusion. I don't know, she whispered. Judge Davidson nodded. Okay, Emily. Thank you for being honest. You can wait outside with the clock. After Emily left, Judge Davidson turned to Jennifer. Ms. Foster, I'm deeply troubled by what I've seen and heard. This appears to be a case of child exploitation and emotional abuse. Chen stood up. Your Honor, my client has provided a stable home for 10 years. Emily is an honest student with college acceptances. There's no evidence of abuse. Except the schedule, and the isolation, and the intercepted letters, and the fact that a 16-year-old girl is terrified to answer basic questions honestly. She's not terrified. She's confused because her absent mother suddenly reappeared after a decade. Judge Davidson looked at me. Ms. Wells, I'm granting you temporary custody pending a full hearing. Emily will be placed with you effective immediately. Jennifer stood up. Your Honor, you can't do that. Catherine isn't stable. She had a psychiatric breakdown. She abandoned Emily for 10 years. Ms. Foster, you intercepted correspondence between a mother and child. You've been using Emily as household labor. You've isolated her from normal social development. Regardless of Ms. Wells' past, what you've done is worse. I provided for her. I raised her. I paid for everything. You also exploited her. I'm ordering an immediate investigation by Child Protective Services. If they find evidence of abuse, you'll face criminal charges. Additionally, I'm ordering a full accounting of the family trust. If you've misappropriated funds, that's another criminal matter. Jennifer's face went from pale to red. This is insane. No, Ms. Foster. What's insane is locking a child's door from the outside. What's insane is making her follow a servant schedule in her own home. What's insane is returning her letters to her mother without telling her. Judge Davidson signed an order and handed it to her clerk. Ms. Wells has temporary custody. Emily leaves with her today. A full custody hearing is scheduled for November 15th. Both parties will submit to evaluation. CPS will file their report. And Mr. Chen, if your client has any assets belonging to Ms. Wells or the trust, I suggest you disclose them voluntarily. Chen was already packing his briefcase. Jennifer just stood there, shaking. Judge Davidson looked at me. Ms. Wells, I'm giving you a chance. Don't waste it. If you're not the mother Emily needs, I'll find someone who is. I understand, Your Honor. Thank you. We left the chambers. Emily was sitting in the hallway with the clerk. When she saw me, her expression was unreadable. Emily, Judge Davidson said, you're going to stay with your mother for now. Pack whatever you need from the house. Ms. Foster will not interfere. Emily looked at Jennifer. Jennifer looked away. Okay, Emily said quietly. An hour later, I stood in Emily's room while she packed a small suitcase. Jennifer stayed downstairs with her attorney, arguing in hushed voices. You don't have to pack much, I said. We can get you anything you need. Emily didn't respond, just folded clothes mechanically. When she opened the locked drawer, I saw her realize I'd already seen the letters. You read them, she said. Yes. How? I'd broken a few nights ago. Emily almost smiled. That was you? Aunt Jennifer thought she was going crazy. She heard someone in the house but couldn't find anyone. I'm sorry I had to sneak around. Emily sat on her bed. Why did you leave? The question I'd been dreading. I was sick, Emily. After your dad died, I couldn't function. I thought I was doing the right thing by letting Jennifer take care of you. For 10 years. I know how it sounds. I know how it looks. But I called every week. I sent presents. Jennifer said you needed space. I never got the presents. She said you stopped sending them after the first year. My chest tightened. She lied. I sent something every birthday, every Christmas. Emily's eyes filled with tears. She told me you didn't love me anymore, that you had a new life. That was never true. Not once. I always loved you. Then why didn't you come back sooner? Because I believed her. She said you were thriving, that coming back would hurt you. I thought I was protecting you by staying away. Emily wiped her eyes. She made me believe you abandoned me. I know, and I'm sorry. But Emily, I need you to know something. Those letters you wrote, I never got them. If I had, I would have come immediately. I would have burned down the world to get you back. Emily looked at me for a long moment. Then she said the most important words I'd heard in 10 years. I believe you. We left that house together. Jennifer didn't say goodbye, didn't look at Emily, just stood in the doorway watching us drive away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her pull out her phone, already calling her lawyer, probably, already planning her next move. But for now, Emily was with me. That was all that mattered. The next 2 weeks were strange. Emily stayed at my hotel. We got her enrolled in a new school, set up therapy appointments, started the painful process of rebuilding trust. She told me everything Jennifer had done, how the schedule started as structure after I left, how it gradually became more controlling, how Jennifer started charging her for room and board when she turned 14, saying Emily needed to earn her keep, how the uniform was introduced as professionalism training, how Jennifer would lock her door at night for safety, but Emily knew it was for control, how she tried to call me twice over the years, but Jennifer had blocked my number, how she'd written those letters hoping somehow they'd reach me, how she'd almost given up hope that I'd ever come back. Every revelation broke my heart and made me more determined to make sure Jennifer faced consequences for what she'd done. Amanda was building our case, but she needed one more piece, proof that Jennifer had stolen from the trust. The house renovations alone were $200,000, Amanda said. Jennifer claimed she paid for them, but the trust had $400,000 when you left. Where's the other $200,000? I don't know. We need to find out. Because if Jennifer embezzled trust funds, that's a felony on top of everything else. I thought about it. The documents were in the house. Jennifer's house, legally. I couldn't just walk in and take them. But Emily could. Emily, I said that night, I need you to do something that might be difficult. What? I need you to go back to the house. Get the trust documents from Jennifer's office. Can you do that? Emily hesitated. She'll know I took them. Not if you do it when she's not home. When does she usually leave? She has open houses on Sundays. She's gone for hours. This Sunday, then. Emily looked scared. What if she catches me? She won't. I'll wait nearby. If anything goes wrong, you text me and I'll come immediately. Why can't you just ask a lawyer to get them? Because Jennifer will hide them first. We need them before she knows we're looking. Emily thought about it. Finally nodded. Okay, for you. Sunday morning, I drove Emily to Riverside Drive, parked 3 blocks away, watched Jennifer leave at 11 a.m. in her Mercedes. Emily used her key to enter. I waited, phone in hand, heart pounding. 20 minutes later, Emily emerged with a folder. She walked quickly to my car and got in. I found them. All of them. Back at the hotel, we spread out the documents. Trust agreement, bank statements, transaction records, everything. Amanda came over to review them. After an hour, she looked up with an expression I'd never seen before. Pure satisfaction. Cat, Jennifer stole $300,000 from the trust. How? The renovations were only $120,000, not $200,000. She inflated the costs and pocketed the difference. Then she took another $180,000 in trustee fees that weren't authorized by the trust agreement. Can we prove it? These documents prove it. She signed checks to herself. The renovation invoices show the real costs. It's all her. She kept records of her own crime. Why would she do that? Because she didn't think anyone would ever look. She thought she'd stolen your life completely. The house, the daughter, the money. She thought she won. What happens now? Amanda smiled grimly. Now we send this to the district attorney. Jennifer's going to be arrested for embezzlement and elder abuse. On October 30th, 2024, Jennifer Foster was arrested at her real estate office. The charges: embezzlement, child exploitation, elder abuse, fraud, and identity theft. Her bail was set at $100,000. She posted it within hours. The story made local news. Portland real estate agent arrested in abuse case. The details were vague, but people started talking. Jennifer's clients began calling, asking questions, requesting new agents. Within a week, her broker fired her. The full custody hearing was November 15th. By then, CPS had completed their investigation. Their report was damning. Emily Wells was subjected to systematic exploitation and emotional abuse for approximately 5 years. The environment was controlling, isolating, and psychologically harmful. She was treated as household labor rather than a family member. The foster placement is recommended to be terminated immediately. Judge Davidson didn't need long to decide. I'm granting full custody to Catherine Wells. Jennifer Foster's custody rights are terminated. Additionally, I'm ordering restitution of $300,000 stolen from the family trust, plus damages. Jennifer's attorney tried to argue. Your Honor, Ms. Foster invested in that property illegally, using stolen funds. The house reverts to the trust with Catherine Wells as trustee. Ms. Foster has 30 days to vacate. Jennifer stood up. You can't do this. I raised that girl. No, Ms. Foster. You exploited her. There's a difference. Jennifer was escorted out, screaming about injustice. Emily sat beside me, quiet. When it was over, she said simply, "Can we go home?" Yes, let's go home. But home wasn't the house on Riverside Drive anymore. That place held too many bad memories. Instead, we found an apartment in Northwest Portland. 2 bedrooms, a view of the city, a fresh start. On December 1st, I watched movers empty Jennifer's belongings from my old house. She showed up, tried to argue, tried to take things that weren't hers. The police escorted her away. That's everything she's entitled to, the officer said. The rest stays with the house per court order. I walked through the empty rooms. Everything Jennifer had added was gone. The expensive furniture, the renovations she'd made with stolen money. It was just walls and floors again. Emily stood beside me. Are you going to keep it? I don't know. Maybe we sell it. Use the money for your college. I think Dad would like that. We stood there for a moment. In the house Michael and I had built, the house Jennifer had tried to steal, the house that was finally ours again. Mom, Emily said. It was the first time she called me that since I came back. Can I ask you something? Anything. Why did Aunt Jennifer do this? Why did she hate me so much? I thought about it. I don't think she hated you, sweetheart. I think she wanted the life I had. The house, the daughter, the family. And when I left, she thought she could just take it. But somewhere along the way, she forgot you weren't property. You were a person. Do you think she's sorry? Honestly, no. I think she's sorry she got caught. But not sorry for what she did. Emily nodded. Good. I don't want her to be sorry. I want her to face consequences. She will. The criminal trial is next month. January 15th, 2025. The criminal trial began. I sat in the courtroom every day. Emily came when she could, when it wasn't too hard. The prosecutor laid out the case. The embezzled funds. The exploitation. The isolation. The intercepted letters. The fake invoices. The unauthorized trustee fees. Jennifer's defense was simple. She'd provided for Emily when I couldn't. Everything she'd done was for Emily's benefit. The fees were justified. The renovations increased the property value. The schedule taught responsibility. The jury didn't buy it. After 3 days of testimony, they deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was February 1st. Jennifer stood before Judge Thompson, who'd overseen the criminal case. Ms. Foster, you betrayed your sister's trust, exploited a child, and stole hundreds of thousands of dollars. This wasn't a mistake. This was a systematic pattern of abuse and theft over many years. I'm sentencing you to 8 years in prison, followed by 5 years probation. You're also ordered to pay full restitution of $300,000 plus $100,000 in damages. Jennifer didn't cry, didn't protest, just stood there, stone-faced, as they led her away in handcuffs. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked me how I felt. I feel like justice was served. Not revenge, just accountability. What message do you have for other families? Trust your instincts, document everything, and never let anyone convince you that absence means abandonment. Family is complicated, but exploitation is always wrong. That night, Emily and I had dinner at our favorite Thai restaurant. It had become our tradition. Every Friday, we tried a new place, talked about the week, reconnected. How are you feeling about everything? I asked. Emily thought about it. Relieved, mostly, but also sad. Is that weird? No. She was your family for 10 years. It's okay to grieve that relationship, even if it was unhealthy. I keep thinking about the Emily I could have been if you'd never left. Or if Aunt Jennifer had been kind. Or if Dad hadn't died. I think about that too. But Emily, you can't live in the what ifs. You can only live in the what now. She smiled. What now, then? Now you finish high school. You go to college. You become whoever you want to be. And I'll be here, making up for lost time, every single day. Promise. Promise. 6 months later, Emily graduated high school with a 4.0 GPA. She'd been accepted to Portland State, decided to stay close to home while she figured out what she wanted to study. We sold the house on Riverside Drive for $480,000. After fees and expenses, we cleared $430,000. Combined with what I recovered from Jennifer, Emily had a college fund of over $700,000. That's too much, she said when I showed her the account. It's what your dad would have wanted. It's what you deserve. What about you? I have my nursing job. I have you. I'm exactly where I need to be. We used some of the money to buy a small house in southeast Portland. Nothing fancy, just 3 bedrooms, a yard, and space for both of us to heal. I started a support group for parents who'd been separated from their children. 5 people showed up to the first meeting, 20 to the second, 50 to the third. Every story was different, but the pattern was the same. Someone had told them their absence was best for their child. Someone had isolated their kid. Someone had stolen their family. I gave talks at community centers about elder abuse, parental alienation, and financial exploitation. Amanda came with me, explaining the legal side. We'd helped 6 families reunite, stopped 3 cases of trust embezzlement, prevented 2 cases of exploitation. It felt good to turn my pain into purpose. People ask me if I regret the 10 years I lost with Emily. The answer is complicated. Do I regret being sick? No. Mental illness isn't a choice. Do I regret trusting Jennifer? Yes. But I couldn't have known what she'd become. Do I regret not coming back sooner? Every single day. But dwelling on regret doesn't change the past. It only steals the present. Emily and I talk about this a lot in therapy. Dr. Martinez sees both of us now, separately and together. She says we're doing remarkably well considering what we've been through. You're both grieving, she said in our last joint session. Catherine is grieving the childhood she missed. Emily is grieving the mother she thought she'd lost. But you're also building something new. That takes courage. A year after I returned to Portland, I went back to Riverside Drive one last time. The new owners had repainted, added a deck, changed the landscaping. It didn't look like our house anymore. It looked like theirs. Michael's magnolia tree was still there. I stood under it, remembering the day we planted it. We'd been married 2 years. Emily wasn't even born yet. We were so young, so hopeful, so certain our future would be perfect. We did okay, didn't we? I said to the tree, to Michael's memory. Emily's strong. She survived. We're going to be okay. The tree didn't answer, but somehow, I felt his presence, his approval, his love. I left Riverside Drive for the last time and drove to Emily's college. She was meeting me for lunch between classes. She waved when she saw me, jogging over in jeans and a university sweatshirt. She looked happy, healthy, free. How was class? I asked. Good. We're studying developmental psychology. It's actually really interesting. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe I'll be a therapist. Help kids who've been through stuff. I smiled. That's perfect. We walked across campus together. Emily told me about her classes, her roommate, a boy she'd met in chemistry. Normal 19-year-old concerns. Beautiful in their ordinariness. Mom, she said suddenly. Thank you. For what? For coming back. For fighting for me. For not giving up. I stopped walking. Emily, you never have to thank me for that. Being your mother is the greatest privilege of my life. She hugged me, right there on campus, in front of everyone. A real hug. The kind I'd been missing for 10 years. When we pulled apart, I saw something in her eyes I hadn't seen before. Not fear, not confusion, not pain. Peace. Looking back at this true story, I realize the lessons come in waves, not all at once. If you're listening to Grandpa's stories like mine, or in this case, Mama's story, hoping you'll never face betrayal from your own family, let me tell you what I've learned. First, mental illness doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you human. I was sick. I needed help. That wasn't abandonment. It was survival. Second, trust your instincts. When I saw Emily in that maid's uniform, everything in me screamed that something was wrong. Listen to that voice. Third, document everything. Those photos I took in Emily's room, those letters I found, those bank statements Amanda reviewed, that evidence saved us. Truth needs proof. Fourth, family betrayal is real. We want to believe blood means loyalty. Sometimes it doesn't. Jennifer was my sister. She held me when Michael died. And then she stole everything. That duality exists. Fifth, justice isn't revenge. I didn't destroy Jennifer because I hated her. I stopped her because she was hurting my child. There's a difference. Revenge is emotional. Justice is moral. The Bible says in Proverbs, the righteous care about justice for the poor, but the wicked have no such concern. Jennifer saw Emily as property. I saw her as my daughter. That perspective made all the difference. God gives us wisdom for protection. When I found that GPS tracker in Script 3, when Tom found his son's betrayal, when Jim found his wife's affair, those discoveries weren't accidents. They were wake-up calls. Self-preservation isn't selfish. It's survival. If these true stories resonated with you, if you know someone facing similar struggles, share this video. Leave a comment about your experience. Your story matters. Your pain is valid. And your fight for justice is worth it. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of courage, redemption, and family bonds tested by fire. Because these aren't just revenge stories. They are survival stories. Stories of people who refused to be victims, who documented the truth, who fought for what was right. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for believing Emily's story. And thank you for understanding that sometimes the hardest person to fight is the one you loved first. Emily is 19 now. She's studying psychology. She's thriving. She calls me every day. We have dinner every Friday. We're building the relationship Jennifer tried to destroy. And Jennifer, she's serving her sentence in Oregon Women's Correctional. She'll be eligible for parole in 2029. Emily has already said she won't attend the hearing. I don't hate her, Emily told me recently. But I don't forgive her either. I just nothing her. She's nothing to me. Maybe that's the real ending. Not revenge. Not hatred. Just nothing. The people who hurt us want reactions. They want anger, engagement, emotion. Sometimes the most powerful response is absence. Indifference. Moving forward without looking back. I got my daughter back. Jennifer lost everything. The house, the money, her freedom, her reputation. But more than that, she lost Emily's love. She lost the chance to be family. And that, in the end, is the consequence that matters most. If you're fighting for your child right now, don't give up. If you're separated from someone you love because of manipulation, keep pushing. If you're being exploited by someone who claims to care about you, document everything and find help. Your story isn't over. Your fight matters. And somewhere out there, someone needs to hear that they are not alone. Thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for witnessing Emily's courage. And thank you for believing that families can heal even after betrayal. This is Catherine Wells, signing off. And remember, quiet strength beats loud cruelty. Every single time.